fair to say the Steelers' Maurkice Pouncey is against the proposed collective bargaining agreement between the NFL and its players. In a lengthy post, Aaron Rodgers went on to question the 17-game schedule and the workload surrounding the offseason program. And, quote, "I voted no last night. My decision to vote no is based off the conversations I've had with the men in my locker room that I'm tasked to represent. This deal will affect every player that ever plays this game, and we have made the decision with only an abbreviated version of the deal, and that simply isn't good enough. Although I do see that there are many things in the proposal that improve the lives and care for the past, present, and future NFL players, there are issues with others." Rodgers was one of the 32 players who voted on the proposal Tuesday to send it from the NFLPA's Board of Player Representatives to the larger player pool for ratification. So he voted no. Max, at this point, hearing from all these players, Russell Wilson also spoke out yesterday. Do you think the NFL should simply scrap the 17 games?
Yes, of course. I mean, of course they should. Look, originally it was, instead of, we'll just play one preseason game. And so we'll add another regular season game on, because everyone knows there's less physical trauma in a preseason game, especially for your stars, than in a regular season game. And then whether that was legit negotiated and was a bait and switch at the end, or whether that just was not true, it's one fewer regular preseason game for one extra regular season game. It's a ridiculous trade-off. And then that's to get a little bit more of a percentage. Still not a free market. I mean, why is there a cap at all? Just say, okay, everyone gets paid, because then the market will determine what's everyone's worth. No, we're going to cap. We're going to cap what you can make at under 50%. Even if it was 50%, why should it be any percentage? The players should make what the owners are willing to pay them, right? But of course, the owners want to handcuff themselves and their competitive nature, so they transfer the money from the players to the owners. And then when they do even go up a tiny little percentage in terms of sharing revenue, the players, it's not just like, hey, players, you can get a little bigger piece of the pie. It's, we must grow the pie. In an absolute sense, the owners must always make more. It's like pigs at a trough. Look, the bottom line is, when we hear stuff from owners about caring about player safety, this is, of course, I don't even hold it against them. This is the nature of business, to make money. It's not immoral or moral. It's amoral. When you hear about how much they care about player safety, they wouldn't be adding a regular season game if they did. They care about the bottom line. And Stephen A., so do the players, and I'm not acting like the union is united, because, of course, star players' interests and the rank-and-file interests, a lot of times those things are very different. That's why you hear Pouncey saying, hey, we'll hold you down. Trust us. Okay, it's easy to say when you got the money, not as easy to say when you haven't made the money yet. At any rate, based on what I understand, if I were a player, I would vote no based on 17 games. I think the NFL should. As a fan, I love it. As a player, I'd say no.
I'll deal with Pouncey in a second. And I'll express my opinion in a second. But before I do, I want you to know that in front of me I have the CBA proposal fact sheet that I had sources in the Players Association give to me and was confirmed because I got it from 5 different players saying that that is accurate. Let me just throw some stuff by you. 47% of AR in 2020, plus $100 million in new player cost above current CBA for 2020. Guaranteed 48% share of revenue in 2021, with ability to increase the percentage to 48.5% share through a media kicker, which applies in any season the league plays 17 games. Projected increase of $5 billion to players during the course of a new 10-year deal. Minimum salaries, a $100,000 increase in the year 2020. For rookie minimums, another $50,000 increase in 2021, and then a $45,000 increase each year after that. At least a $90,000 increase in 2020 for other minimum salary players, $80,000, $105,000 increase in 2021, and then $45K increase each year thereafter. Okay, that's really what they're talking about here. Now, having said all of that, this is what you get from guys in the Players Association who wants this deal done. Let me say this. I'm against it. I side with Pouncey and them if, indeed, you're just talking about 17 games. If you adopt what I proposed a week ago in Vegas, when I said, go ahead and do the 17 games, but add 7 roster spots, okay? And make sure, mandate that no player is allowed to play more than 16 regular season games.
See, I like that.
That's
if
what
I
I'm
was
saying.
a player, I'd vote for that.
In other words, what I'm saying to the players, get the league to mandate to acquiesce to no player is to play more than 16 regular season games. Add 7 additional roster spots, okay? Use the reserves. I'm not talking about dressing.
So basically, you're creating.
I just don't think it's realistic. I don't think players are going to want to do that.
Fine. Let me explain.
Wait, why
what
not?
I'm saying is this. If you're on the sidelines, right, and you're dressed, but you didn't play, okay, there's a slew of players who don't play every weekend. So, in other words, you don't have to sit all the starters at the same time for one game or anything like that. You can pick apart. If you got a weak game coming up or whatever, maybe that quarterback's not playing that game. I'm saying to you is this. Mandate that they play 16 games, not 17. Get that percentage up to 50%. Why? If it's 48.5% and that equates to $5 billion, then 50% would equate to $10 billion. Let's not let the owners get away with being so greedy. But in terms of Pouncey, even though he's not wrong with his position, with all due respect, my brother, be fair. What you mean you gonna hold it down?
Yeah, a lot of dudes.
This over 1,600 players. Come on, stop it. You can't. And the Players Association, in fairness to the Players Association, you go to the table and you negotiate. But you know you're not negotiating from a position of strength because those who cut the check, there's only 32 of them. You got 1,600 to 1,800 players that's getting paid. Most of them,
the owners all have the same interests. The players' interests are different.
And most of them are not getting paid. There is no way. If you're the Players Association, let's not engage in condemnation against them because we understand there's only but so much you can negotiate because you're not operating from a position of strength where you're representing 1,600 to 1,800 players. There's no way. So when you look at it from this perspective, you say to the owners, listen, man, y'all don't want to come across as greedy? We'll give you what you want. Give us 50%, up that take from 5 to 10 billion. Make sure that, you decrease practice time and all of that stuff, but make sure that no player is mandated to play more than 16 regular season games.
When I come up with a plan, I've had some comprehensive plans on this show that I think are better than what exists. I'm signing up for the Stephen A. plan in this case. It's better than what's being negotiated.
Unrealistic.
It makes more sense on both sides.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.